Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will be covering one more interview question that is asked in one of the big MNC company. So for today's question, it is necessary that you know few things before actually jump into the questions. I will reveal that what exactly it is. But this particular question was asked in Amazon and is actually a tricky question that I found, which is normally not being asked in like a different MNC company. But if you solve this question, then a lot of things will be clear how exactly things work and what all things you need to do in order to solve it. How will you approach these questions? So these things will help you understand whether you have understand all the functionalities of Spark, SQL, and PySpark in order to solve it. In this video, I will be solving the question in PySpark. If you want, you can also solve it in Spark SQL and put it in the comment section once you have solved it. So let's get started with today's question in PySpark that has been asked in Amazon. So this is our input. On the left side, whatever table we have, this is our input, and the right side that we have, this is our output of the data set. If you will see, there are four columns here, A, B, C, D in the input, and there are almost twice the columns as in the input in the output. So there are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there are total 8 columns in the output. So that is one observation. Second is, if I see in the column A, we have 10, 20, 10, 30, 10, 40, and 30. So what exactly it's doing is it's actually trying to see how many 10s are in the column A, how many 20s are in the column A, and how many 30 and how many 40. So here in column A, the number of 10 that is occurring is 3. So this is the first occurrence, this is the second occurrence, and this is the third occurrence. So there are total 3 occurrence of 10 element in column A. How many elements are there for 20? So there are total 1 row itself which is having 20. So the count is 1. How many 30 is coming in the column A? So it is 1 and this is 2. So the count of 30 in the column A is 2. And how many is 40? It is 1. So we will come for this null, why exactly it is so. Now in column B, if you can see, the number of 20 is 1. Okay, so it's 1. Now number of B in 11 in B is how much? 1, 2, and 3. So it is 3. Similarly, how many 12s are coming? It's 1. How many 13s are coming? It's 1. And how many 8s are coming? It's 1. So now you will see that there are 5 elements here, and in this there are total 4 elements. So when you are combining, merging all the data frame, right, the A count, B count, C count, and D count, there is one element which is missing here, but here we have that element. To fill that gap, we are putting the null value. If in case there are more elements, the elements will come and all of the rest of the elements will be the null value. So in a use case, in real time, null values are not preferred. So usually what happens is either you fill this null value with some constant value so that you can do the aggregation or you can do the manipulation of your data set as per your needs. So let's see how we can approach this particular question. If you can see, the number 10 is coming thrice, right? So the first thing that comes into your mind is you have one column, right? That you need to go ahead and count how many times that element is coming, right? So the first thing is you need to, I'll just write it here, the approach. First thing that comes in mind is you have to get the count of each element. Whenever you get the count of each element, it's like you have to do a group by operation and you have to then count the number of elements that is there for that particular column. So the first point here will be, I will be doing a group by, and then I will be calculate the count of each element. I'll write calculate the count of each element. Okay. Now, once you have done that, you have to go ahead and get you have to merge all the data frames. But before that, if you do a count, what it will do, what column it will give you, it will not give you the column name as count of A. So it will be giving you the column name as count, right? So what I will be doing is I will be renaming the column. The next step will be rename the column from count to column name plus the count plus the column name. Okay, so that we know for which column that count is coming. Okay, now once you have done that, now we have to actually combine all the data frames that we get after renaming the column. In order to combine all the data frames, you have to merge them, right? If I have to merge it, there are two types of merge that you can do. One is you can do it horizontally, and the second is you can do a vertically. So if you remember, if you have to do it vertically, then you do a union operation, right? You just stack it on the top of each other. But if you have to do it horizontally, you do a joining operation, right? Here in this our case, what we are doing, we are doing it a horizontal operation in which we are combining the data frames. So for that we will use a join operation. So combine all df by using join. And how exactly we will be joining? As we want all the elements of A, B, C, and D. So it will be a outer join, or you can say a full outer join, right? So now once you get this data, then whole data set is there. If you will see in this particular example, you have to know a little bit of Python, like how you can create a list, how you can go ahead and combine the list, append the data set in a list, how you can iterate through a list so that you can go ahead and reach this solution. So, before that, if you have not watched my previous videos on how to approach different questions which are being asked in PwC, Amazon, FAANG, or any other big MNC company, then I would highly recommend you to go ahead and watch my videos. So, it is basically in this particular Shilpa Data Insights, I have created two playlists here. One is the Big Four Data Engineering preparation, and the second is the interview series. I have covered a lot of questions here. If you will go and search, these are all the questions that I have already mentioned, how you can go ahead and prepare. So make sure you prepare these questions as well if you are preparing for any big MNC company, even for startups. So these are very useful in order to go ahead and understand. And if you are new to Databricks, you can watch this playlist in order to go ahead and learn everything related to Databricks. So let's go to our Databricks notebook and let's create the data frame first. I'll paste this data frame, how you create the data frame, in the description so you can go ahead and see that. And if you don't know how to create a data frame, I would highly recommend you to go to my playlist of Spark and search how to create a data frame and how you can assign schemas for your data frame as well. Because if you will see in this, I have assigned a schema and then I have created a data frame, then I'm displaying the data frame. So make sure you know how exactly to create the data frame using the data set. Here I'm using the data set as a list. Now my data frame is ready. I have all the data frame, all the columns here in the data frame as integers. So this is my data set ready. Now my next job here will be to count the numbers of each element for their respective columns. So how I can do it, I'll show you the code and then I will explain you one by one and do it. So let me first go ahead and run this command. So in this, what I'm doing is I'm processing each column. I'm processing column A, I'm processing column B, I'm processing column C, and I'm processing column D. And I'm processing each column here. Once I have each column, on each column I'm selecting. that particular column and I'm grouping it by that particular column, and then I'm doing an aggregation, that is I'm doing a count operation. So these are my columns. I'm processing each element separately, each column separately, and grouping it by that column and getting the count of each element. Once I've done it, I'm actually creating a column called count of with column renamed count to basically count of column. Once I do it, these are my column names that will come, and I'm appending it to a list. If you will see, the output is basically a list here, right? So I'm appending it to a list and I'm getting the data set. So let me show you one by one how exactly things are working. I'll just copy this and paste it, and I'll just remove few parts and then we'll rewrite it. Okay. Okay, let me remove these things. Now, what I'm doing is I'm creating an empty list where I can go ahead and append each column and get my actual result. So for column in the df.columns, let me go ahead and print this processing column so that you know which column exactly it is processing. So df.columns, what it does, it will go ahead and get all the column names from that particular data frame. So if I do this, then you will see the result. See, now what it does is it's processing the column A, B, C, and D. So each column I will be processing. So for each column, what exactly transformation I need to do? I need to first select that particular column itself, and I will group it by the count. So what I will do is I will do a df, sorry, it just entered. So I will do a df dot column equal to df dot select. What I will be selecting? I will be selecting the column itself, right? Because I have each column name as what? I'm iterating to each column. So I'm doing col, and then I'm doing df dot select dot group by what? I'm doing a group by on my column, and I will be doing a count operation. So now let's say I have my df call. So let me run this particular command. So see, this is there, but I don't know what exactly it's processing. Let me try to do a show command. If in case it's a data frame, it will show me the result. So here we go, it's processing the column A. So now if you will see, it's processing every column. What it is doing is, let me go on the top of this. Now for column A, it's processing. Now it is checking for element 10 how much count it is there. For 20, what is the count? For 30, what is the count? For 40, what is the count? Similar operation has been done for the column B, for column C, and column D. Okay. So now it has processed it. Now what I will do is I will go ahead and I will rename this column. Why I'm renaming is, as I said, it is using this count. I don't want that to be a count. So let me remove this df column dot show, and I on the top of this df column only, with the help of with column renamed, I will be going ahead and renaming the column. So I have already explained to you in my Databricks and PySpark playlist how you can use the column rename function. So I will be renaming this count to my count of A. So what I'm using is I'm using an F string here, and I'm mentioning the column. Okay. Now what I will be doing is I will also go ahead and in the list, the empty list that I created, I will append all the results of df dot column. Okay, so this is my thing. Now let me do a df list and see if it shows me any result. Okay, so it's the same thing that I did on the top, so I'm just removing it. So I am processing my column A, and then I'm doing a group by that I showed you using the show command. Then I have renamed the column to count of A, and then I'm actually appending that column to my list of columns. So this is my list of columns. So A is being replaced to count of A, right? The count is replaced to count of A. So this is my column A, and this is my count of A. Similarly, B, this is my count of B. For C, this is my count of C, and for D, this is my count of D. And everything I have put it into one list. Okay. Till this, I hope it is clear. Now, what I will do is let me show you how exactly my first data frame, that is the column A data frame, looks like. So if you will see in this list, what it does is this is my first element of the list. This is my second element. This is my third. This is my fourth. And if you have to fetch the first element of the list, you have to do this is my zeroth index. This is my first index. This is my second index, and this is my third index. So what I will do is df list, I will just see what is my first index. So this is my first index, right? If I do a df list of my second row, right? Second element of the list, then I will do a df list of one dot show. So this is my second element data frame, right? So this is how you know if your result is coming correct or not. So df list of first element is this, df list of the second element is this. The indexing starts with 0, so keep that in mind for list. Now, what I will do is I am actually importing some functions here so that I can go ahead and first of all, we have to do a join operation as I was mentioning, right? But if you do a join operation, you need to have a key column. So what is the key column here? Do you see any kind of key column? It's all different elements, right? So in the real-time scenario, if you don't have a key column, you actually introduce a key, a surrogate kind of a key, and that is basically help you in joining different data frames. So to create a key in PySpark, you can use a function which is called monotonically increasing ID. So what it will do is it's like a sequence in SQL, which you will get like the first element will have a sequence of 1, then the second element will have 2, the third element will be 3, and the fourth element will be 4. Now, what I'm doing is I'm creating a first of all, I will be iterating each data frame in the DF list. And for each data frame, I will be assigning that particularly monotonically increasing ID. So for first data frame, I will be iterating each element and I'm assigning the index. So what I mean is here we have this, right? So what I will do is, let me see if I can open the Excel. Okay, so it's not giving me properly. I will do one thing. I will, instead of show, I'll do a display so that I can show you properly. Okay, so this is my output, right? So now it will iterate through each element of this, and what it will do is we will create one more column called index, and for each element it will give me a sequence 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Similarly for the second data frame also it will do the same. Now what it does, it let me show you again. It will iterate through each element of the data frame in this df list, and it will assign the column index, and what value it will give, it will give monotonically increasing ID, and it will create a list again, right? So that we can iterate through the list. So here using with column, you are creating another column which is having this index, which is a sequence, and for each element of that particular data frame. So let me go ahead and show this. I'm showing it for the data frame, first data frame, which is A. Similarly, let's see for the second data frame. This is the second data frame. Do we have it for third data frame? That is our last data frame. Yes. So every data frame has an index column which is starting with 0. Now I can combine every data frame using a join operation on the basis of this index. So for that, for merging all the data frame, what I'm doing is I'm creating one data frame which is my zeroth data frame. That is for column A, I'm creating one data frame. Now I will be going ahead and iterating the rest of the elements of that particular data frame. So if you will see, let me show you the DF list. Okay, a DF list dot show it will not do. So let's see what exactly is our zeroth element, right? First. So this is my zeroth element. So this zeroth element, DF list of 0 is we are assigning at DF result. Now for DF list of 1, I'm assigning this to my the second, right? So DF result and here DF list, right? So first is assigned here. Now I'll be iterating through the other elements of the list in the DF list from first till last. And with each DF, I will be joining it on the index. This is the on condition. And how I want to join, I want to do a full outer join because none of the elements should be skipped, right? So let me remove this and let's do a df result dot show. So this is my data frame which will have all the lists. So this is my index. So on the basis of each index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the this data frame is combined with this data frame, then it's combined with this data frame, and this combined with this data frame. So on the basis of what? On the basis of index. So if you will see, 10 was assigned 0, 20 was assigned 1, 30 was assigned 2, 40 was assigned 3. If you will see on the top, that's what it is. And for this also, it is assigned 0, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So if you will see in this case, fourth element for count A was not there, right? So it has assigned null. And for count B, it was there. So it has that particular data set in the B and the count B. If in case you do an inner join, what it will happen is it will see that this fourth is not present inside the A, but it's present inside the B, right? So there is no basically combination of it. So it will actually remove that particular data set from the A, B, and C, right? And D. So it will have only 4 elements, but that's not what we want. What we want is we want all the elements. So therefore we are doing an outer join. Now, in the real-time scenario, this index is not useful because this is a surrogate key. So if you want the final result when you are actually uploading maybe into a table, a delta table, you actually want to go ahead and remove that index. So for that, you can do a df.drop and you can do an index here so that it will drop that index and it will display you the result. So if you will see here, A is there, count of A, B is there, count of B, C is there, count of C, and D is there, count of D. There are null values because A doesn't have the fifth element, B has it, but C doesn't have, and D doesn't have. So this is how you have to go ahead and approach this question in order to solve it. I know this is a little bit tricky question because it doesn't only include normal PySpark approach, but it also helps you in approaching the question in a different way by using Python functions like the iteration, the list, the other things, right? So that we have used. So make sure you understand everything here. So I hope you have understand how exactly to approach this question. This was actually a tricky question that I would say because in the interview they will try to analyze the Python skills as well as the PySpark skills at the same time. So in one question they can actually evaluate whether the particular person is comfortable with both the languages. Now, if you want to know more about the interview questions, please do watch. And it's not only watching, make sure you create your data frame by your own and you actually go ahead and practice it and type it with your hands. And that will only help you in cracking any interview. So if you have liked this video, then do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and share with your friends so that you can get your latest updates and you can practice more and more questions. Till the next video, stay tuned and have a good day.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.